In this video, I will explain the course introduction of research methodology in ELT class. I will start with the course description. I'll just read. This course aims to provide an overview of methodologies and research ethics to conduct research on language teaching in EFL context. Practically, it provides a comprehensive introduction to conduct research by offering examples of various research methods and foundation of research theories in ELT. The course also introduces elements of the research process within quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods approaches, as well as ethical considerations in conducting research. So basically, in the semester, we will learn about quantitative, qualitative, mixed methods, and then ethical considerations. There are 4 basic concepts that we'll learn deeper in the class. Plus, one more thing, that is research paradigm or research philosophy. There are 4 pokok pembahasan that we'll cover during the semester. The first, we need to identify types of research based on research perspectives, or we call it research paradigm or research philosophy. And then we identify ethical practices when we are conducting research or research ethics. And then 3, we formulate research questions and determine appropriate methods based on the research questions. And then we'll do article critique in terms of methodology and ethics. So basically, the first here will identify research paradigm and then ethical practices. And then number 3 here, after we learn about methods, various methods within qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods, we'll then be able to formulate research questions. So later we'll see that research questions will determine the method that we'll need to use. And therefore, we need to learn several methods first before we can formulate research questions. And then by the end of the class, you will also need to do a critique towards a journal article in terms of methodology and ethics. So here are the assessment components of research methodology class. The first is exercises, that is 15%. Second, that is quiz. There are several quizzes during the semester. The total will be 15%. And then recorded group presentation on methods, 15%. TTS, that is 15%. You will need to write or answer in written form. It's timed and it will be submitted. And then recorded individual presentation on ethics, that is 15%. And then essay on journal critique that I talked about earlier, that is 25%. So basically, these are the components. Exercises and quizzes will need you to work continuously throughout the semester, consistently, because these assessments will need you to continuously read the module, the reading, or watch the videos assigned to you. So if you do not progress very well, you may miss the exercises and quizzes. There are two presentations here because we are doing distant learning. The presentation will be recorded and then you will need to upload it in YouTube and then send the links to eClass. And then the videos that you have will be graded. Essays on journal critic as the final test will be conducted in groups, so you are not working individually. Here you will need to analyze a journal article in terms of methods and ethics. Whether this journal article has conducted research which is, for example, methodologically appropriate, or whether or not the researchers have done or have used ethical practices during the research. Something like that. We'll talk about that deeper in the later meetings. I'll need to emphasize about students' attendance. As usual, students need to attend at least 75%, that is 10 meetings of the total meetings to join the final test. So in total, now we have 13 meetings excluding the final test. So you will need to attend 10 meetings of the total meetings. There are two possibilities on how you can show your attendance. The first possibility is you indicate your attendance via eClass. If you take a look at your eClass now, there is an option or a menu there that is Presency. It's easy. The teacher will open the Presency and then you will indicate your attendance. But there is also the second possibility, that is submission by attendance, which means that the teacher will indicate your attendance when you have submitted certain assignment. Whether we'll use the first possibility or the second possibility, I will announce that through our WhatsApp group each time. So make sure that you keep updated with the information posted in our WhatsApp group. And then I'll talk about students' responsibilities related to the syllabus and weekly agenda. The first is you need to attend synchronous meetings as scheduled or as informed. It will not be every week, but we'll need to have synchronous meetings at some point during the semester. I think it's still very important. And then you will need to watch videos on materials. So I will post or upload videos on materials that you will need to watch. There will be contents that you will need to memorize, to understand, and to study deeper, because those materials may come up in the quizzes, in the TTS, and may also be needed for your future references when you're doing your TAS, for example. And then number 3 is very important. That is, you will need to read and understand the materials in the module. The module has been uploaded in eClass, so you will need to read and understand the contents or the materials in the module. Because as you can see in the assessment, there will be presentations on methods, presentations on ethics, for example. I think you will not be able to do that very well unless you read the materials in the module. And then you need also to do weekly quizzes or exercise. As I said previously, sometimes submission could also be considered as attendance. One important thing is whilst the teacher is there to help you, I'm there to help you. During this distant learning, you will still need to have very good time management and study independently. So I think this is very important. So even though we are not having face-to-face meetings, you will need to have self-control of yourself and to manage your time very well. You need to ensure that you are progressing, you are making progress each time. In eClass, as you can see here, I have uploaded the syllabus and then the grading rubrics for your assessment later, and also the materials that we'll need to discuss during the semester. For example, for meeting 1, we'll have good research and then research paradigms. And then for meeting 2 and 3, we have qualitative methods. The next we'll have quantitative methods. In the 4th and 5th meetings, we'll have mixed methods and formulating research questions. That is very, very important. And then we'll have research ethics. And then we'll come to the discussions on how we can critique a journal article in terms of methodology and ethics for the preparation of the final test. As a start, you will need to download the RPS or the syllabus to see the expectations that you need to fulfill. As you can see here, the RPS, some of them have been discussed earlier. The weekly agenda that you need to pay attention to. As you can see here, for each week, we'll have topics to discuss, research paradigms, qualitative, and then quantitative and mixed methods, formulating research questions. And also, you will also need to pay attention to the criteria and the form of assessment. For example, quiz, exercises, and then presentation. So, in general, you are responsible to pay attention to the syllabus every time and try to fulfill the expectations as written here in the sub-JPMK or the expected end of the class. One thing that you'll need to remember very carefully is that this class prepares you for your scriptsy proposal. There will be weekly readings during the semester, and I think it's quite tempting not to read, not to study independently while you don't have any face-to-face class. But what I can say is you need to be very, very careful. The readings will be the materials for the exercises, quizzes, TTS, TAS, and perhaps most importantly, the knowledge that you get from this class will be very crucial for you to develop your scriptsy proposal. It is also a course that becomes the prerequisite for the scriptsy proposal. I hope everybody will do their best and pass the class. Because if you fail this class, you cannot take research proposal course next semester. Nobody wants that to happen. So I hope that you will succeed in the class by making progress each time, getting the knowledge that you will need in order to prepare you for writing scriptsy proposal next semester. If you have any questions, please do not be afraid to ask. You can post your questions in the WhatsApp group that we have. You can also contact me personally, and then if I think the questions or the responses to the questions can be beneficial for everyone, I will post the responses in WhatsApp groups.